Hi there. It's June 21st and time for Proverbs 21. Step over there, turn that off. And more Proverbs, right? More Proverbs. Okay. The king's heart is like channels of water in the hand of the Lord. He turns it wherever he wishes. Kings. 2. Every man's way is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts, right? Or the motives. I'm doing the right thing, but are you doing it for self-gratification or are you doing it to glorify God? Eh? Ponder that. 3. To do righteousness and justice is desired by the Lord more than sacrifice. Right? Doing what's right is more than sacrifice. That's gifts, right? We'll touch back on that. 4. Haughty eyes and a proud heart. The lamp of the wicked is sin. Got that? The lamp of the wicked is sin. Haughty eyes, that's looking down on people, pride, right? God finds those things detestable. Detestable. 5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to advantage, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty. All right? I bet there's a note. Yes, there is. He that goeth rashly about his business and without counsel surely cometh to poverty. Right? You should do anything without a plan, okay? All businesses, you should have a business plan. Before you ever start your business, you need to have a plan. And as part of that plan is to get lots of counsel, advice. I started a business. Before I started, I had a business plan. It was like 200 pages, right? Right? If you come hasty, just jump into it, right? It's not going to work. And sometimes it still doesn't work. 6. The acquisition of treasures by a lying tongue is a fleeting vapor, the pursuit of death. Stealing, lying, right? The gathering of treasures by a deceitful tongue is vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. Right? Lying, cheating, scamming people. Okay, they call them scammers today. A lying tongue. Pursuit of death. Right? Boy, there are a lot of scammers out there now. Holy cow. 7. The violence of the wicked will drag them away because they refuse to act with justice. Yes, we're waiting for that, aren't we? Refuse to act with justice. The way of a guilty man is crooked, but as for the pure, his conduct is upright. Right? Just do only good things, say only wise things, kind things, uplifting things, right? And just keep practicing that until that's just who you are. Consider the Lord in every step. It is better to live in a corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Right? Solomon wrote about this a lot because he had 700 wives, and he took them only to expand his territory, but he was stuck with them, and you can't keep that many women happy, all right? It's not possible. 10. The soul of the wicked desires evil. His neighbor finds no favor in his eyes. Soul of the wicked. Now, there are people that are just wicked, okay? Wicked and evil. 11. When the scoffer is punished, the naive becomes wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. Right? simple, naive. And there's a note over here. Frames of Proverbs 19:25. I read that a couple of days ago. God first punishes the naive becomes wise. Think about it in all these protests. Okay, they take the loudest, most obnoxious one, and they take him down and handcuff him, and everybody else runs away. Right? The righteous one considers the house of the wicked, turning the wicked to ruin. I wanted that whole thing to be green. Is there another righteous one up here? I think there was, wasn't there? We'll put all these righteous ones together because it's fun. Right? Instructions for life. 13, he who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be answered. Right? I mean, you ignore stuff? If you're able to help and you don't, when your turn comes, no one will hear you. 14, a gift in secret subdues anger, and a bribe in the bosom strong wrath. I don't consider bribes a good thing, but gets you out of trouble sometimes. Now, there's usually two when it talks about bribes. It just happens to be two in every chapter. We'll look for the other one. All right. 15, the exercise of justice is joy for the righteous, but is terror to the workers of iniquity. Exercise of justice. You love it when the evil people are taken over and the cops show up, okay? To exercise justice. 16, a man who wanders from the way of understanding will rest in the assembly of the dead. Way of understanding, you know what that is? That is the Bible. That is the Bible, and fearing the Lord and following the Lord and getting wise advice from other wise people who fear and follow the Lord. People, we call them backsliders, okay? People that know better. They just never studied the Bible enough to know how important it is. Rest in the assembly of the dead, departed spirits. Dead. 17, he who loves pleasure will become a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not become rich. You become poor, okay? There are people who win the lottery, okay? And 99% of them, they love pleasure. They love wine and oil, cars and houses and fancy clothes, and they become poor, right? Because they don't use it to live. They use it to just pleasure. Like the prodigal son, okay? He had a fortune, could have lasted him the rest of his life, could have bought his own farm, started a very profitable business and been happy forever, but he went out and spent it all on parties and drugs and oil and wine, right? The wicked is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous is in the place of the upright. 18, right? See the note over here. God shall cause that to fall on their own heads which they intended against the just, by delivering the just and putting the wicked in their places. All right. The 1599 Geneva Bible, with its original footnotes that were written in the margins and printed, was an amazing book, okay? I keep the 1599 Geneva open because it's one of the oldest Bibles, predates the King James, okay? And because King James hated this Bible, right? And we left England because of King James, okay? And this is probably the Bible that many of the forefathers brought with them, okay, when they came. And the footnotes were just amazing. Okay. We read that. The wicked is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous in the place of the upright. right? God will protect you. There's another one. It is better to live in a desert land than with the contentious and vexing. Solomon had his issues, right? 20. There is precious treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man swallows it up. A wise person stores stuff, okay? They don't spend everything they have. They don't use everything they have. They store it. Hmm? Foolish people use it all up. Okay? You have $1, you got to spend $1. You can't save it. People are like that. He who pursues righteousness and loyalty finds life, righteousness, and honor. That says life, righteousness, and glory over here. Glory, honor. Anything. Make that green. Okay. Anything righteous, I make it green. It's life, righteousness, and honor. Well, let's just make the whole thing green. There you go. 22. A wise man scales the city of the mighty and brings down the stronghold in which they trust. Right. Wise men can bring down cities, right? Let's see what this note says over here. Wisdom overcometh strength and confidence in worldly things. In worldly things, you got that? Wisdom overcomes strength. 23. He who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. You got that? I say this all the time. Keep your mouth shut. In most instances, just being quiet, right, is all it takes to keep your soul from troubles. And it's an important verse. Guard your mouth and your tongue. Keep it shut. Hey, 24. Proud, haughty, and scoffer are his names, who acts with insolent pride. Right. Pride, proud, haughty, and scoffer. The definition of pride. We will. Let's make that. Okay. You want to know the definition of pride? Proud, haughty, scoffer. Say mean things, you look down on people, think you're better than everybody else, okay? All things God doesn't like. That's it right there. 25. The desire of the sluggard puts him to death, for his hands refuse to work. Right. There are people that are so lazy that will die because they are just lazy. It continues. All day long he is craving, while the righteous gives and does not hold back. Let's read that together. The desire of the sluggard puts him to death, for his hands refuse to work. All day long he is craving, while the righteous gives and does not hold back. Right? Desires desire. If you give, God gives back to you more than you gave every single time. It's never, he says it, it's in the Bible. He promises that. He says, test me in this, right? If you give to the poor, you will get back more than you gave, right? So the righteous gives and does not hold back. The desire of the sluggard puts him to death because his hands refuse to work. 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with evil intent? The wicked mind with evil intent sacrifices, gifts, money, philanthropy. There are people, we won't mention names. I've gotten banned before for mentioning names that I shouldn't have mentioned when we all knew. They got a person who is very rich and philanthropy when their motives are evil. Okay, we'll leave that at that. 28, a false witness will perish, but the man who listens to the truth will speak forever. Right? False witness, a liar, will perish. 29, a wicked man displays a bold face, but as for the upright, he makes his way sure. Directs his way. Whenever it says the way, they're talking about the Bible, okay? That's the way. The Bible is the way. And Jesus is the way, right? The way, the truth, and the life. Expand with his peace. Wicked man displays a bold face, or some of your war face, right? 30, there is no wisdom and no understanding and no counsel against the Lord. That there is no wisdom, no understanding, and no counsel against the Lord. If somebody's speaking against the Lord, that's not wisdom, that's not understanding, that's evil. Okay? Can't say anything against the Lord. Okay? He made everything. He knows everything. Okay? 31, the horse is prepared for the day of battle, but victory belongs to the Lord. That. This here salvation is of the Lord. Right? Horse is prepared for the day of battle. Okay, let's go over here. Let's put all these righteous ones together first, okay? To do righteousness and justice is desired by the Lord more than sacrifice. Right? Doing what's right. Okay? More than your gifts and your sacrifices. The righteous one considers the house of the wicked, turning the wicked to ruin. It says teacheth over here. Teacheth the house of the wicked. And there's a note. Though the godly admonish them both by words and example of life, yet the wicked will not amend till God destroys them. Wow. Turning the wicked to ruin. Sometimes the wicked will not, right? Considers, says teaches, right? You try, doesn't do any good. The wicked is a ransom for the righteous, and the treacherous is in the place of the upright. Right? When the wicked people try and do things to righteous people, God will turn that around on them, okay? And put them in the place they're trying to put the righteous. Okay? That's what it says over here. God shall cause that to fall on their own heads, which they intended against the just, by delivering the just and putting the wicked in their places. Wicked is a ransom for the righteous. He who pursues righteousness and loyalty finds life, righteousness, and honor. Glory. Right? Pursues righteousness and loyalty. That's what we're up. That's what I'm trying to do, pursuing righteousness, okay? It says in Romans that nobody is truly righteous except God. Jesus was righteous. But we're to try. We're to pursue righteousness all our life. And that's what we do. Okay. Let's go to the other highlights. Righteousness is the key, right? It seems to be a key in all these things. It's what you're supposed to be seeking. Every man's way is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts. Motives, okay? The Lord weighs your motives. Right? If you think you're doing right, but you have a motive inside that nobody knows about, right? If you're out feeding the poor with your phone, filming it so you can get likes and clicks on YouTube, right? That's your motive, is your own popularity. It's not to feed the poor. God knows that. 5 is highlighted. The plans of the diligent surely lead to advantage, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty, right? Plan things out, write it down, get advice. Right? Now, anybody who's done something, okay, I wanted to open a coffee shop. I talked to other coffee shop owners, and they will gladly tell you, do this, don't do this. Okay, don't do this. This doesn't work. You will fail. All right? I'll be glad to give you that advice. Hmm? Or with anything. Okay? If you're hasty, you'll surely come to poverty. It won't work if you just jump in there without a plan. Okay? 13 is highlighted. He who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be answered. Right? You shut that off. If you ignore them, if you're able to help and you don't, right? When your turn comes, and it will come, okay? There'll be no help for you. If you're known as somebody who helps. 15. The exercise of justice is joy for the righteous, but is terror to workers of iniquity. Exercise of justice. That's when the cops show up and the good people are going, yes, the cops are here. Right? Or the National Guard, the Army, or whatever. When the cavalry comes in. Right? I had something. Okay, a man who wanders from the way of understanding. Right? That's reading the Bible. That's the way of understanding. Right? The way of wisdom. Over there. Way of wisdom will rest in the assembly of the dead. The departed spirits. Right? Don't ever stop reading your Bible. Okay? Just don't. Okay, 17. He who loves pleasure will become a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not become rich. Okay? You what? The whole theme of the Bible is just enough, okay, to have just enough. And to have more than enough is to be able to share with those who don't have enough, okay? If God gives you more than enough, you're supposed to share with those who don't have enough. That's the whole theme, okay, in the Bible. That includes your enemies. Okay? Love your enemies. Give them bread when they're hungry. Okay? He who loves pleasure will become a poor man, and he who loves wine and oil will not become rich. People that spend everything on themselves, right? On pleasure. It never lasts. Okay? 23. He who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. You have that? Keep your mouth shut. 99% of the time, keep your mouth shut. Okay? Watch and learn. Okay, definition. Proud, haughty, scoffer are his names, who acts with insolent pride. Arrogancy, in his arrogancy, wrath, it says over there. God hates these things. Prideful, think you know more than everybody else. Haughty, that's looking down on people, thinking you're better than somebody else. Scoffer. Okay? Scoffer. You don't know what a scoffer is. Just talk and yell and tell lies and scream at people. I don't like those. Talking down to people. Who acts with insolent pride. Okay? And we know God hates pride. He likes humble. Pride is something God detests. 27. Sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with evil intent? And we talked about that. Right? There are people that bring gifts and do things as philanthropists, right? Only for their own, right? To be proud, haughty, to be proud and haughty. Some do it with evil intent, okay? They bring people food, but the food's got poison or medicine in it that will kill them, and that's evil intent. Stuff like that. 28, a false witness will perish, but the man who listens to the truth will speak forever. Right? Lies fall apart. Right? Listen to the truth. The truth can be found in the Bible, by the way. Okay. All of the Bible is truth. Right? Will speak forever. Mm-hmm. It's important. Yellow. Right? There is no wisdom and no understanding and no counsel against the Lord. Okay. Anybody speaking against God, that is not wisdom. That's not understanding. That is not counsel. Stuff you should go away from. Anybody speaking against the Lord in any way. Okay. Because it's not truth. So, there you go. That's Proverbs 21. We tear these apart, don't we? And tomorrow, I think, starts a, yeah. Tomorrow, the next 3 days is important, okay? Or, because tomorrow starts there are 30 wise sayings that you are supposed to memorize. Keep them on your lips at all times, right? So, there you go. Stay tuned later today. We are in Acts, okay? And they're Peter and John are doing their thing. I mean, they are so successful, right, in their spreading the gospel that people are bringing their sick out and laying them in the streets so that their shadow, that Peter and John's shadow can go over them, and even that will heal them. So, and there's thousands and thousands of people coming to Jesus, right? It'll all take a turn. But, once you come to Jesus and know the truth, you don't turn back, okay, even to the point of death, because you know the truth, okay? You know where you're going. So it's getting exciting. So it's like day 172 or something, just about at the halfway point. So stay tuned for that. Give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll continue this one. See ya.